Aunt Annie, can I ask you the first question?
What with?
The first question is, what do you remember about the early years at Durbanville Baptist Church?
Well, we didn't have a Baptist church here. We used to go to Basil, but we started meetings here. I started on having Thursday afternoon. I used to get ladies from Cape Town, speakers. We had meetings in the afternoons in different homes. And I remember a lady that lived next to Rolin said, they will be upset that they will all come. That's a form. Will be upset that we have meetings with her, but she says that they don't look after us, so you look after us.
Any of you remember anything about the early days at Durbanville Baptist?
Tell them about the prayer meetings in my neighbor's house.
Yes, we had prayer meetings in my neighbor's house, but they had too many clocks. We couldn't we couldn't have prayer meetings there.
At 8 o'clock, about 100 chimes. It starts in one room, and you can hear them. And I mean 100 clocks, grandfather clocks.
Manili offered us ground for the church there, but when the surveyor came, and it was taking too much ground to build the church there. And today we can see why it had to be closed to those doors, because we couldn't have had the church right in the center of the village.
On that particular property?
Yeah. And when the surveyor came, it took some. We wrote him a letter and said, we thank him for offering it, but it's taking too much of his garden.
That's the ground in front of the wrist, where they have the craft markets on Saturdays now.
All right. What have been the most significant moments in the life of the church?
Of course, we first had a fellowship, see, but then we formed the church one evening with about 20 people in an Annie's house on the double-story road there, us in the middle of Durbanville. And we constituted the church and decided to call Mr. van der Kolff as a minister. That was one thing. And then we were, of course, looking for ground, and we were offered quite a number of sites. But as Annie already said, the one site was offered, Mr. Manili offered us, but it was not suitable. And then the site where green pastures at the moment is, that was offered to us, but we all thought that was right in the Bundu, out of town, so that was no good. And then Annie went to see the municipality, and they offered us a site on the other side of the cemetery. But that was very slant, and then I went to see them. I said, can't we come this side? The municipality were very friendly to us at that stage, and I was looking to the day. It was very friendly to us, and they eventually offered the ground for us for £1. I think that was a very important moment in the life of the church.
Heather, can you add anything? You were one of the young people, and when the church started, and what was significant about the early church to you?
I think just watching the church grow, as a young person, it was very exciting being part of that and watching it grow and develop. And then I had a boyfriend then that later became superintendent and became youth. Robert became youth leader, so we were very involved with the young people and the Sunday school. And I think one of our great things was our Sunday school picnic, which was a church picnic, and everybody used to go to Gordons Bay, and it was very, I think just being part of a church that was growing and being able to bring up my children in a church like that. I was very sad that I wasn't the first bride in the church, but I think I was the third. So yeah, that was also very lovely to be able to walk down the aisle.
But either your mother was very involved in the
Yeah.
Sunday school.
Yes, my mom was also one of the foundation members, and she and Aunt Annie and Mrs. Ace and Mrs. Templar all worked very much together and worked hard to build a strong BWA, and which of course stands for the best woman anywhere, and yes, just to bring faith to the church to help it grow.
Mrs. Ace, but you were there from the beginning, weren't you?
Yeah.
It's really wonderful to have you here with us
Thanks very much.
this morning.
Thank you.
Really
Nice
is.
to be here.
Evelyn, perhaps I can ask you this question.
If I can answer it.
Just concerning God's faithfulness to the church over the years, how have you seen God being faithful to the church?
Well, the church didn't come to a standstill. The members were just coming and new members were joining the church. There were baptisms, people joining, and new pastors coming. The Lord has just sort of sent the person at the right time. And we've been going from strength to strength. And I think even financially, He's always provided. At times we thought we just won't make it. But then somebody has come along, or the Lord has sent the income. So to me, that is very faithful. And the Lord has sent very faithful pastors who really preach the word and no frills about it, the pure word.
When we called us from the convent, we didn't have, you had to go and stay on the farm in that little house.
Oh yes, so He's also provided financially, and even with the menses at the time when Mr. van der Kolff was here, he had to stay in a little house out on John's farm. We didn't have a house for him really, and then a manse was given to him. Well, I can say Aunt Annie and Dominee Marie donated the first manse in Vanderbijl Avenue. They gave it as a gift to the church, and that was really an answer to prayer. And there the Lord provided already from day one. And so later on, what was outstanding, how we acquired these two manses where Basil and where Mike are staying at the present moment, also at a very reasonable price, and it also came out of the blue. The offer was made to the church. There he was very faithful, and it's absolutely outstanding answer to prayer. That's what I feel.
Aunt Annie, I'm sure that you've got lots of stories of God's faithfulness and how God has brought the church along these past 50 years.
Yes.
What are some of the stories that come to mind for you?
Well, there's so many stories. I can't just think of the best one now.
Maybe
But,
Turner and Heather, you have...
My husband built the church.
That's it.
He built the church, and that was the big thing that he had to build the church. We got the ground, and so he built the church. And when we had the opening, it was a wonderful day.
And tell me, when this church started, what did you want to see accomplished? What were you wanting to see happening through the life and ministry of Durbanville Baptist Church?
People to be saved and to come to the Lord.
Turner, and anything that you would like to contribute to that? Heather and Evelyn?
I was actually agree with Aunt Annie to see people saved and to see the church growing in membership also, in numbers, and not becoming stagnant. And we can see how that has happened in the past years, how it's just been coming more and more people are coming and being saved and joining the church. We praise the Lord for that.